This is the Riot Podcast. Look, Chris is coming in and out. It's fine, Chris. Just do your job.
It's just the podcast listeners. They're fine.
They know you're hanging around.
They have no problem hearing you. So if you're like, what's that in the background? It's Chris.
Look, during the fall fundraiser, we got stuff happening all over the place. So just be glad there's a podcast at all, you know?
I know. We wanted to make sure you guys had something this week. We're trying to raise money to support RadioU, which is where the Riot on RadioU. If you're a podcast listener, though, you normally don't hear the music part of it. No one's raising enough money for that. So that doesn't happen. But for our podcast, if you're a Riot listener, consider supporting RadioU so that we can have a Riot to have a podcast.
Today in the podcast, 2010 is what we're looking at. And this is one that I really remember this. This comes from March of 2010. Obadiah discovers Peanuts comics, which are Charlie Brown's.
Sure.
It must have been 2010, but I had several months where I went through and read almost 10 years worth of Peanuts comics. I'd never read them before.
I thought you were always into them.
No.
Oh.
And that's, you know what? That's probably what you say in this. Because I grew up watching Charlie Brown cartoons.
And to me, I sometimes get them confused.
Yes. And so reading them, it's all in there. You can find out about that. The world Snuggie record was set then. Also, this is I
wonder what
run.
it is now.
I don't know. But this, in March of 2010, Obadiah loses his phone at Chipotle.
That's when that happened?
You remember that, guys?
Goodness.
It was the NV2.
Wasn't it a burgundy color or something?
Yep,
and he threw it away in the trash.
I did. I put it on my tray, and by the time I figured out that it was gone, it was gone.
You know what's also funny is that's like right around the time we stopped going to Chipotle. We could put it around the date. We just didn't eat there much after.
She ain't lying. There's also some stuff in there about Taco Bell and Chris. April 13th, 2010, the Riot eats the KFC Double Down.
Oh, that started this video. Man, Obi was in this video.
I showed up on news reports all over the world.
If you go to our RadioU Riot channel, it's why we've always kept it and never moved to like RadioU. And it's why... it's like it's got the most views, so you can still find it there.
Yes,
but it literally became like a KFC Double Down viral video.
Yep.
That people would use, and man, that was a rough time. Some mean people.
Oh yeah, everybody was talking about how fat and stupid I was. No. But you know what?
You were the only one in the car.
It's 2019. It's still happening.
It's still there.
So enjoy today's podcast. And, of course, we'll be back with more tomorrow. And as Nikki said, don't forget to give. RadioU.com. Click on donate. Tell them the Riot Podcast sent you.
Let's put some lipstick on this pig. Support the Riot during the fall fundraiser. 877-2-RADIO-U. RadioU.com.
It is the Riot on RadioU. 8772-RADIO-U. Something that it pains me a little bit to admit this is that I am, unfortunately, I am an educated man, but I have no desire for educated things. And so as a result, I went to the library the other day and I went to the nonfiction section. But
you went in?
Yeah.
You didn't just go through the drive-thru?
No. But unfortunately, I have a tendency to go to the library and head to the 720s. And if you ever go to the 720s, here's what you know. That's where they keep all the comic books.
Oh, God.
They still list them under nonfiction.
Man.
I know. Like,
grown man.
I had commented the other day. I was on Facebook reading through, and a friend of mine was like doing some reading for his doctorate, and I was like, you know, it's funny. I got through. I was thinking about writing an essay on All-Star Batman. You know, the Jim Miller, Frank Miller, Jim Lee thing, and I was like, here, that's what I'm reading.
That's your doctorate.
He's doing reading for his doctorate, and I thought, man, I'm embarrassed that how they have taken their education, and I spend my day reading comic books on the internet and being like, hey, listen how funny this is. This is so funny. Oh my gosh. It's sad. I think I have the potential to go off and do something great with my mind, but instead I do this. And so I was in the 720s, or maybe it's the 740s, I can't remember. And I happened upon this huge, I mean like almost an entire shelf of nothing but Peanuts. And I mean like the Charles Schulz, Charlie Brown Peanuts comic. And it occurred to me as I was standing there, I don't think I've ever really read Peanuts. Not really. I mean, I have
thought
watched.
You liked him a lot.
No, see, I've watched all the Charlie Brown TV specials and all that stuff, and I love all that stuff, but I'd never really read Peanuts. And so I just thought, what the heck? So I grabbed 2 of the collections, and they were in these published works, these hardbacks where it was like you got 2 entire years in one thing. And so I got like 62 to 63, and I think like 66 to 67 or something. And so yesterday I read a year and a half worth of Peanuts.
Oh, my gosh.
And you know what? It was amazing.
You enjoyed it?
I could not believe, number one, how funny it was.
Yeah.
And number two, how brilliant it was.
Even more than like you enjoyed Calvin and Hobbes? Because that's a special part in your heart.
That's true. But the thing that was interesting is, number one, is that you could see how formative the ideas in Peanuts, how you would see them become. Like, there was kind of this natural evolution from this is what cartoons were in the 60s, and here comes Calvin and Hobbes in what the late 80s or early 90s, whenever that started. I don't know, because I encountered that in reruns, in paperback, not as it was being published. But yeah, it was amazing. Like, I couldn't believe how smart it was, how funny it was, how very adult it was, and how intensely you could see that it was engaging this guy's life. Mm-hmm. You could see this guy, and that's one of the things about the Riot. It's more transparent. You know, we've been at it for a long time, and if you go back and listen to the show, you could figure out what's on my mind, what I'm thinking about, what I'm yelling about, whatever. Same thing with this guy's comic. You could see what this guy was dealing with in relationships, in his personal life.
It all came through.
Oh, it all bleeds through, especially when you read it in quantity like that.
That would be the key, because probably back then you couldn't. Unless you collected it or kept it, it would, you wouldn't have a chance to get the volumes of it and get it all in one. Day
to day, I don't think you would have picked it up, but seeing it as this work collected in one space, it was amazing.
Well, that's so much more of an intellectual comic compared to like if you pick something else up. Well, so don't be too embarrassed.
I couldn't. That's what I couldn't believe. I couldn't believe the intellect behind it. You're talking about 3 little drawings or 4 little drawings. And dude, this guy, I mean, the stuff he talked about and dealt with, and some of it's like fluffy, lighthearted stuff, but like the character of Snoopy, and again, admittedly, this is a little ridiculous what I'm saying here, but what the character of Snoopy dealt with and expressed was amazing. But then,
did you have a tough high school year?
No, but like Snoopy was like this character who just had a good time and it just enjoyed life, and he was bothered by the fact that he was having so much time, but he had so little direction. And the other thing that's funny about Snoopy was when Snoopy gets depressed, he eats. He does. He really does. And I'm like, wow,
this is what we do.
And again, like you wouldn't pick it up day to day, but like seeing it in this huge chunk, dude, it blew me away. Absolutely blew me away.
Well, it makes you wonder, does the guy, does he have that issue too? Would he eat when he's unhappy?
I don't know. But then that's the other thing is, you see, I was amazed by it. Like I'm going to go and look. I know there are a couple of books written like about the actual Peanuts itself, but I was amazed to see this collected work in one space, something that's a big piece of Americana. I've never encountered it, and to pick it up and read it, and how thoroughly brilliant it was. And you're talking, admittedly, you're talking about comics printed in the newspaper, but this thing, unbelievable. My idea of like what Charlie Brown, like just watching the cartoons versus reading the comics, night and day. Cartoons very much for kids. Those comics are very much for adults. And I like stamp of approval. I'm not done. I'll be finishing 1963 tonight.
Oh my gosh.
And then
then moving on to the next volume.
I'm going to start putting them on reserve. Fascinating stuff, man. And again, I have friends getting their doctorate. Me? No. I'm just reading the comics, from the paper.
Oh, you're catching up.
Obadiah is vanilla, Nikki is cherry, and Michael is Dr. Pepper. 3 great tastes that fundraise great together. Donate now with the Riot 877-2-RADIO-U. RadioU.com.
It is the Riot's 877-2-RADIO-U. So over the weekend, a world record was set in Cleveland, Ohio. So excited about it. If I had known about it, I would have been there,
Hopped on the jet.
Oh, yeah, totally. What you've got is a Guinness World Record for the most fleece blankets of one color in one place. 20,562. You see, the Cavs passed out free Snuggies on Friday night. And so you can see in the crowd there 20,562 people
of
wearing
the same color Snuggie then?
Yes, they are custom made Cleveland Cavs Snuggies. So everybody's wearing their Cavs Snuggies. Freebies.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
It's really
and you guys
exciting.
thought you only got crap when you go to games.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's the kind of handout that keeps on giving.
You take that thing home.
Yeah, and you guys know, like traditionally, Nikki and I are both huge fans of the Snuggie. So, I mean, the chance to have a custom Snuggie like that.
Well, it's a gift.
Not available in stores, Nikki.
Oh, is it not?
You gotta go pick one. I mean, you know what? It might be now, but
I'm sure they have all those Snuggies, like all the merchandise. What do you call it? Like licensing and stuff. They're for every team.
Yeah, dude, look at this. Shaquille O'Neal, he got one. It's an XXX. That's a 4XL.
Oh, wow.
Snuggie. But they got one for him.
He's got a special size.
He's got a Snuggie, dude. No problem. So, that's really exciting that happened. So, there you have it. And you can see everybody so excited to be a part of that historic
post
event.
a photo of it. I want to see it.
Yeah, okay.
Is that all there is, or there's not much else to the photo?
But I mean, okay. So just out of curiosity, is Eric still wearing his Snuggie around the house?
He has one. It's kind of almost just like a blanket, though. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't really. I don't come home and see him with his arms in it, so it's not like it's used a lot like that.
Yeah. So are you sure?
I hope so. I hate that thing.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate that thing.
You bought it for him, didn't you?
Yeah, but that's because he wanted it for Christmas. But otherwise, I hate it.
Yeah.
And I
well-
think he likes it more just because I hate it so much.
Well, I can assure you that's true. I mean, that's
just a little irk.
That's a question that doesn't even enter my mind. When I got in the car one day and Eric's up front with a Snuggie on, and it was just like, huh, that's interesting.
Just to bother me.
But I mean, he could have, maybe he was a part of this. He could have been the brainchild of this. You don't know. Eric, you think he's downstairs playing Battlefield? He's arranging Guinness World Record Snuggie fittings. Something to think about.
Well, if you want one, they're still there.
Your donation will help answer the eternal question, cake or pie? Support the Riot. Fall fundraiser, RadioU.com.
I should probably tell you that if you've tried to call me since Friday morning, I have not gotten your phone call. If you have texted me since Friday morning, I have not gotten your text.
There's all these messages just out there in limbo.
There probably is, and I'll never get them because the phone is gone. I lost my phone on Friday, but it's worse than that. This literally, like, when I went home and really started thinking about it, I got pretty unhappy about it.
Oh, you did?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just a mistake.
Well, it was. It's not that big of a deal. But here's what happened. And this is where I want you guys to get your phones out and get ready to call because I want to know what you would do. We went to lunch Friday at Chipotle, and I have somehow gained this great love for Chipotle. I was never really a big fan. Something happened somewhere. I don't know if I slipped and fell, hit my head, drew the flux capacitor, suddenly liked Chipotle. I don't know.
But you're like, if you haven't been there before, it's a burrito place.
I just all of a sudden am this huge fan of Chipotle. It happened a couple months ago. I'm in. Like anytime Chipotle, yes, I'm coming. Let's go right now. So that's when it's fine. We went. Now, when we got there, I took my phone out of my pocket because I was wearing these jeans and I wasn't wearing a coat because it was nice out. Up until this point, I just would keep my phone in my coat pocket. And so I took my phone out. And if you've been to Chipotle, you know they give you your food in a little red basket. So I had my burrito in a little red basket, and I took my phone out. Then I thought, I better not put it in the basket because I might throw it away. I was like,
no.
Yeah. If I set it up there on the counter, like on the thing, I'll never remember it, and I'll put it right here. I'll see it. So I set it in there. I get my burrito out, and it was good. It was the least well-wrapped burrito I've ever had.
Lately, there's been some sloppy wrapping.
Yeah, like it kept
They
falling.
make it thicker instead of longer.
Yeah.
And so you get this short, fat burrito instead of maybe a slightly thinner and longer burrito. It makes it harder to eat.
Yeah, well, so it kept falling apart and all this stuff. And then there were 4 of us. And then we got this angry phone call from Chris that we'd left him behind. And sometimes Chris goes and hides in this little room where there's no intercom. And so he didn't hear the announcement. We thought he was dead or something. And we just didn't bother to go get him. So he ends up coming over while we were at a table for 4. Well, that's not very nice. So we picked up our food and moved. At that point, I took my burrito, which was starting to fall apart, and it was in the wrapping, I set it in my little red basket, picked it up, moved to the other table. Well, when we sat down, I began doing something I don't normally do, and that was eating the burrito kind of out of the basket. And I also did something I don't normally do. I decided I didn't really want to finish it, and so I just left my burrito in the basket. It was time to go. We got up. I dumped my basket, and then I put my basket up on the thing, and then we went to GameStop, looked around.
All these fun things.
Yeah, and then came back to the station, and
when did it hit you?
It was probably around 2:00.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I should check where's my phone? That's weird. Where is it? Is it here?
Can someone call me?
Hey, no, I started calling myself.
Oh, did you?
I was like, everybody in the building. There's only like 3 people here on Friday. I'm on the intercom. Like, everyone listen for the phone. All right. I went out to my car. I'm like, well, I probably just left it in there. No, it's not there. No. Oh, my gosh. And so that's when I began asking the question to everybody, what should I do? What should I do? And so that's my question to you. I'll give you the next couple minutes if anybody wants to tell me what they would have done. Should I have gone to Chipotle, put on the gloves, and dug through the trash?
Well, do you want to tell them what they said to you? Did you call them, or did you go and ask them?
We'll talk about it.
Because I think that changes people's thoughts.
I just want to know, like, what you think about it. Like, would you, if you lost your phone in the trash at Chipotle, would you go back after it? Now, there's just one thing that I'm going to tell you, that since you lost your phone potentially in the trash at Chipotle, it's been almost 3 hours.
Of a lunch crowd. And Chipotle is a lot of rice and beans and guacamole and salsa and, all these sauces.
Yeah.
Lots of sauces.
What would you have done? 3 hours goes by. You have no phone. What do you do? There were serious discussion in this building on Friday as to what you should do.
You and the 2 others.
Oh, yeah. There was a total of 4 of us.
There was 4 of you? Okay.
If your dog could talk, he would tell you how much he loves listening to Nikki in the morning. She's a friend to animals everywhere. Support the Riot. Fall fundraiser. RadioU.com.
It is the Riots on Radio U. I may have thrown my phone away at Chipotle. That we think that's what happened. And the question was, 3 hours later when I figured that out and I realized that suddenly my phone might be gone, what should I have done? Chinko, good morning, sir.
Hello.
Hey, man, what do you think I should have done?
Well, I'm kind of different than most people. I spent a whole summer digging in the trash just to pay rent and stuff. But if I was a normal person, I'd still go get the phone, because there might be some files or pictures you might not be wanting to get out to the public.
Dude, he's not taking photos like that.
I've spent enough time in this chair to not take those kind of pictures with my phone.
Well, it might just be like eBay pictures. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, either way, if you're wanting to go dumpster diving, there's a lovely phone somewhere in a dumpster.
Thanks for calling. How do you know I didn't dig for it? Maybe I went back. Matt, what do you think, dude?
I would definitely go back for it, just because, for one reason, like, if there was any water damage, you could, like, actually use the rice from Chipotle and, do that trick where you could open the phone. You've got the rice and the phone already ready to go.
Good.
So easy.
You are intelligent, because that is very, very smart.
Good.
You're killing 2 birds with one stone right there.
Exactly.
That's
then you don't have to pay for rice. You already have it. It's already there.
Wow.
Use it. Nobody wants it. Used rice.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
Wow. Smart move.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, thank you for that. You just go in there and you're all set on all fronts.
Intelligent man, which, by the way, does work if you drop your phone somewhere.
Yeah. Chris, what
not
about
in
you?
a trash can.
I would have went straight back and would have been next to the trash can, bending down, calling my phone, trying to hear if it was in the trash can or not, and then move from trash can to trash can.
And then
trying to hear if it was in which one.
But remember, eventually you run out of trash cans and you get to...
The trash can?
The trash can, in the
big
back.
one?
The big one in the back.
The full-bodied, I think someone dropped a dead guy in here.
That's where they can hide things like that.
Yeah.
That trash can.
All right, bro. Thanks for calling.
Bye.
Jonathan, what about you?
I would have got a whole bunch of friends, and we would have all gone dumpster diving together.
Okay, you know what? Here's the thing is, you don't know the other people that work here. Like, everybody's your friend. Everybody's your friend, and she's like, hey, Coleman, what are you doing? Listen.
Hey, he was on air.
When the IRS is over, what do you think about you, me? We're going to go over to Chipotle and hop in their dumpster. What do you think? Are you game?
Are you man enough? I think it would have been funny, like, if you filmed it or something. That would get people there to do it.
That's what Nikki says. She's like, take your camera. Dude, Chipotle would have been out there in 5 seconds. Like, what are you doing? Go through our trash with the camera.
No. If you told him what you were doing, and that, or I said you should have grabbed an intern or, a street team member. Like, hey, I have something really important for you to do today. It's for the station.
It's something that...
It's for Radio U. We dropped our Radio U phone.
It's a very important phone. It's very important.
It's our, line that all the bands call. We can't miss it.
In fairness, I did miss out on at least one important phone call this weekend.
Yeah.
Switchfoot, if you want in to tell me what you would do if your phone might have been in the dumpster at Chipotle for 3 hours. See, man, there'd have been some places it could have been where you'd been like, yeah, go for it.
At least you didn't eat at Cheap Chinese.
Could you make it through the morning without your daily dose of the Riot? Please pay for your prescription at the counter. The Riot Fall Fundraiser, RadioU.com.
It is the Riot 8772 Radio U. We're talking about my phone, which we think is on its way to the county dump, potentially, or could still be in the Chipotle dumpster right now.
Or what if someone else found it, though? They were willing to go where maybe others were not.
They heard my phone ringing in the trash, and
they're like, hey, what is that?
Stuck their hand in and grabbed it. Yeah. All right. So let's see what people thought. Should I have gone dumpster diving for my phone or not? Shane, what do you think?
Well, I think you should have gone dumpster diving. I mean, seriously, if that was my phone, I would have gone for it because, then maybe my friends would start getting weird calls or something like that.
Yeah,
is the trash going to call your friends?
No, if someone found it or something and made random prank calls to my friends would be saying, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I don't have my cell phone.
That's true.
No, they would just assume it was me.
Or for instance, hey, it could be a sign that maybe your phone was meant, probably was meant to go away. I mean, for instance, dropped in the ocean. I looked at my phone, completely trashed.
Yeah, you're like, bye-bye.
Well, salt
yeah,
water.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I guess I'm going to have to get a new one. Darn it.
So right now, sharks are prank calling your friends. Come into the water. Why don't you come out for a swim?
Exactly.
See you down at the pier. Jump on in. Bring some barbecue sauce.
I managed to retrieve it, though, but it was toast.
Yeah,
so.
once salt water hits it,
it's over.
It's no saving it.
Yeah,
no bag of rice will help your phone. You're like, well,
it did not.
I dropped it in water. I've heard rice. No, not when it's salt water.
Yeah, you're out of luck. Shane, thanks for calling, dude.
Bye-bye.
All right, Brian, what about you?
Yeah, I was wondering what kind of phone you have. Is it like an iPhone or a BlackBerry, or is it just like one of those cheap flip phones?
All right, now wait.
Before we start throwing words around like cheap.
Let's talk about this fine piece of engineering technology. I had the LG NV2.
Okay.
Which is
It's nice. It's a
middle.
nice phone.
It's middle, isn't it? It's not like a free with purchase. It's not like a cereal box phone.
No, it's not. I did not get it in cereal.
But it's not an iPhone.
Well, I mean, it could be.
I own it.
I own it. It is I's phone. So, wait, now, Brian, you think that affects it? Like, do you think the NV2 is worth a dumpster dive?
It depends. My wife, knows how dumb I am, so she purposely bought me the insurance so that I can be dumb with my phone. And so if you got the insurance on it, from what I've heard, you can do anything to the phone and then get a replacement.
Here we go.
Now, have you done anything to the phone and gotten a replacement?
His phone company's going to hear this. He's a habitual one.
No, Brian, have you had to replace your phone?
I've never had to yet. No, I've been a little smarter since I've gotten my BlackBerry. So.
Snap.
There it is. All right. Well, Brian, thanks for calling.
Bye.
All right. Okay, so what happens next? I'll tell you where we go from here. But
and
if
where
anybody,
his phone currently is.
yeah. Where is my phone? Where is it?
Well, someone can still probably go get it. It's probably at the big dump.
Now, drive south and start calling. Listen.
Look for the birds.
The Riot.
We love Radio U. You love Radio U. We love the Riot. You tolerate the Riot. Donate now during Radio U's fall fundraiser. RadioU.com.
It is the Riot on Radio U, 8772 Radio U. So the question of my morning, or I guess of my afternoon on Friday, was after I had taken my phone, the LG NV2, which, a lot of people make a lot of comments about it, but I think it's because they envy it. That's what I'm saying right there.
Well, that's where the name came from, of
that's
course.
Right. A lot of people got to be saying stuff about my phone. There's nothing wrong with my phone.
It's not. It's a perfectly nice phone.
It texts well. It takes fairly mediocre photos. It makes phone calls.
Did you have a card in it? Or?
Yeah, the card there was a 1 gig little card thing.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah. But I had just offloaded a bunch of the pictures. I've got the software where I can edit the phone if I want to.
Good.
So here I am, LG NV2, and I just want to stress again the fact that it had been 3 hours.
So take us back to you figured out your phone's gone.
Right.
Then
I've searched everywhere.
Did you call Chipotle to ask them what you did, or did you go back?
I called Chipotle and said, hey, listen, has anybody... I thought, maybe I set it on the table. Maybe it was on the table. I don't know that I threw it away. I don't know that. And so I called him. I was like, hey, I think I left my phone there. Has anybody turned in the phone? No.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, that's all right. You still have hope, though.
Right. Then I was like, there's this chance I threw it away. Like, you think the trash cans have been cleared out? Yeah, they have. They're in the dumpster. And I thought, okay. And here's the thing is everybody here's like, dude, like, here, just take this phone, go over there, call. And I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, here I am. It's like 65 degrees outside. I'm wearing a T-shirt, sandals. And I'm supposed to go in the dumpster at Chipotle. At Chipotle? All right. And I started thinking okay, let's just imagine that I get the trash bag open, that I find the bag that has my phone, and then I go ahead and I get my phone out, right? Then I get it out, and what happens? It's completely covered in sour cream with little pieces of bean and rice stuck all over it. Hey, I found my phone. Do you think what then? I'm going to hose it off. I'll wipe it down. People won't begin referring to me as the trash phone guy, whatever. Plus, think about this. Here I am supposed to be a dignified member of our community. People are walking by. Hey, Obadiah. Hey!
Excuse me. I'm in the dumpster.
Sometimes they throw really good stuff away in here. I just wanted to see if I can...
A lot of our bands are freegans, all right?
I'm just looking for lunch.
It's very popular in these eco times to do what you are talking about.
If you take all the leftovers, you can usually get at least one whole burrito out of this.
That's a full meal right there.
I bring my own tortillas. So
you didn't even go and look, though?
No.
Because I would have at least gone to call and see how deep it was in the trash dumpster, and then how deep it was in the bag.
Yeah, but let's face it, you wouldn't have been the one digging for it.
No, I would have gone in and cried enough.
No, you would have made Eric jump up in there.
Well, yeah, I have an iPhone.
Right. Well,
there's no envy doing this.
There it is. I maybe had I had an iPhone, but see, here was the other thing, and somebody mentioned is that I did, for reasons I still can't contemplate, I did get the insurance on my phone.
Yay!
And so it was one of those things where I sat down and in 5 minutes, and yes, I had to pay a deductible, which was too bad. I'm not going to lie, but I have a phone that will be arriving today. No dumpster diving.
And it has all your contacts and everything?
Yeah, I use the online backup thing. It's free.
That's the smartest thing to do. You didn't have to go into anything.
See, that's what I thought. And here's what I'd like to say is everybody in this building, no sympathy. They're like, oh, what's wrong with you? Go dig it out of the trash. Go! And I'm just like, anybody want to go? Well, I'm really busy.
And there's so few of us today.
Yeah, so somebody's got to stay here and watch the desk, don't you think?
I think you did the smart move.
I did. I called it in. I got one on the way. I'll have a phone. It will not be covered in anything. I won't randomly be talking on it and all of a sudden some sour cream drops out of it.
Well, it always has this smell to it.
Well, it still works.
And you say, here, you can use my phone.
People are like, no, thanks. What's that smell?
You will be known for a while as the man who threw his phone away.
It's the Riot.
If you don't support during the fall fundraiser, the Riot will disappear.
You wouldn't want that to happen, would you? Would you?
On second thought, don't answer that. Radio U Fall Fundraiser. 877-2-RADIO-U. RadioU.com.
You guys know I love stories about people committing robbery because it's always so dumb. Like, you don't hear about the ones that end up working right.
Yeah,
the ones that work, they don't make the news.
We only hear about the ones that obviously had an issue.
This is awesome because I honestly would love to sit down, as long as they didn't have their guns, and have a conversation with these people. There were three guys that robbed a Taco Bell Monday night in Charlotte, North Carolina. These guys pulled up to the drive-thru window and they pointed a handgun at the clerk and they just demanded food. They didn't want money. They wanted food. They got 3 empanadas and they drove away.
That was it?
Done!
That was all they wanted?
They robbed Taco Bell. Now, granted, that's probably the only thing I'd really want to eat at Taco Bell. Empanadas, they're the caramel apple pies.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you want what was in the cash register? I just don't understand that.
Well, probably because they understood that nobody eats at Taco Bell anymore, so there wasn't any money.
There wasn't any cash? No, because a lot of people pay with cash since it is cheaper.
Yeah.
So that would be a place where I would think. But I guess maybe they were just hungry.
Yeah. So, you know what? But then on the one hand, it's like you want to make fun of them because first off, like, of all the places to rob to get food, like, man, rob a McDonald's, rob a Burger King, rob something else. Fourth meal is a lie. It is a lie. You don't want to rob Taco Bell?
Not just for empanadas. Come
on. You might as well rob the grocery store, get some cat food and some tortillas, man. You can just spread it all in there. Boom. You're eating Taco Bell. Yeah, I know. Baja Blast. Many people tell me it's so wonderful and only available there. And yet they walk away with some empanadas. They must have been good. They didn't get caught. So
I bet they were either trying to test out, like just trying to see
getaway speed.
Yeah, like if they could get away with something. Or the only issue I've ever really had with Taco Bell is that it takes so long.
Yeah.
So maybe that was all they could get in that time.
But that's true.
Because I've waited long time.
And the Taco Bells around here have gotten really smart. They've put like these huge concrete walls around the drive-thru line.
Yes.
So if you order something and you've been sitting in line for 20 minutes, there's no escape.
There's no way out of that.
If you are going to Taco Bell, you would darn well better mean it, because you are not getting a chance to change your mind. Once you go in there, it's over.
You're stuck.
Done.
That
you
is
have to
it.
stay. And you're right. You might as well go to Friendly's at this point.
You think they did that on purpose, the concrete?
Well, let me ask you.
Because I've been stuck there.
Do you want my feelings on the issue, or do you want me to rationalize it with you?
I want you to just tell me, like, if you really honestly think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they don't want... Why else when I go to McDonald's, do you know what? There's always a huge place that I can drive out of the drive-thru if I want. I can park over there, but not at Taco Bell.
It's true.
Taco Bell is like, we have these huge concrete defenders to keep you inside the line. Why do they want to keep me in the line? See, the food should be keeping me in the line, not concrete, okay? Wendy's, you can get right out of line.
Right out of
line.
line.
You know what? Burger King, I'm right out of the line. Whatever.
Taco
smart. Bell, you're not going anywhere until you get your tacos and we get your money. Yeah, next thing you know, they're going to be guards with guns walking along those walls.
Hey, it's just for security, all right?
Yeah, seriously. Though I'm not going to lie to you, taco sounds kind of good.
Yeah, but the concrete thing, that is so true.
What if we went in?
No.
If you keep supporting Radio U, the Riot will keep coming in here every morning and saying stuff. If that's not incentive, I don't know what is. The Fall Fundraiser on Radio U. 877-2-RADIO-U. RadioU.com.
Yesterday, KFC unveiled their new national thing, the Double Down, which it's 2 pieces, basically 2 deep fried chicken breasts, or you can get grilled. Mm-hmm. And then in between them, you've got their secret sauce, which is like some mayonnaise things, some cheddar jack cheese, So, no, pepper jack, and then some other kind of cheese, and then bacon.
Bacon.
And then you eat it. There's no bun.
The chicken's kind of like the bun.
Right, and that was great because yesterday Jared said, myself, Jared, and Chris went. We actually did some stuff for TVU's Most Wanted, which you can see this week through TVUlive.com starting on Friday, or you can watch the Riot video we shot yesterday as well. That's right now at riot.radiou.com. We went ahead and went over there, and I got a hair on my tongue. Okay, sorry. We went over there.
Might still be chicken.
Picked him up. First off, holy crap expensive. If you wanted the combo deal, which you could get yourself a diet soda, some fries, and a double down, that was $6.99.
But still, that's not like astronomical compared to some combos.
That's true.
Especially if it's like the specialty item.
Well, we didn't want a combo. We just wanted the double downs. They were $4.99 a piece. That I mean, maybe I'm just crazy.
I don't think it's healthier if we even shoot for less than that. Like sometimes you have to. Your food can't be dirt cheap.
You need like
it needs to have
medium.
something.
Okay,
I mean, you are eating food for crying out loud.
Fair enough, Nikki.
Yeah.
Fair enough. At least we know the ingredients
There's something
rock
there.
bottom cheap. Okay, good call. So we drop it $4.99. We get one, and we actually get two. We each had one, and again, my favorite comment when Jared opened up, he's like, "Dude, where's the bun?"
Did he not realize it didn't have any?
He'd never heard of it until yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Where's
Apparently,
he at?
some people don't live in the same world we do. A new food item, man, call the press.
Man,
Get
people
out.
on our show were counting down.
Yeah. So I tried it out, and I'll say, like, I was maybe a bit skeptical of it, but dude, it was delicious.
Really?
I couldn't believe how good it was. I also couldn't believe how greasy it was. My hand, just after picking it up, was soaked in grease.
Probably because you don't have the bun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. Because you figure the bun is soaking up the grease on all the other crap you're eating. Whereas now you just be like, you don't even know. But with this thing, it's right in your face just how much grease you're actually getting. Now, the other thing, people didn't ask me, was it good? Yes, it was really good. But here's the thing. I ate probably 3 or 4 bites of it, and I was like, okay, all right, that's enough. Shut it down, pack it up. And within about 20 minutes, I started feeling a little unsettled. And I can't confirm if it's the grease or if it was the cheese. For some reason, I kept thinking it was the cheese, but I don't know.
It might be. It also just might be the excitement of a new thing. You get those little butterflies in your tummy.
Even my stomach was thrilled with it.
Your stomach's excited.
This is so much fun.
Oh my gosh, what'd you put in me?
So when I got back, I was like, dude, I can't eat any more of this. But the chicken was really good. And I was like, okay. So I took the bacon and the cheese and I threw it away and I saved the chicken. And probably about an hour and 20 minutes before I went to work out, I went ahead and finished off one of the pieces of fried chicken. And I will say this, that during my workout, I felt like I was sweating KFC.
Really? The grease.
Oh, dude, I'm not kidding, man. Like, I really did feel like I was sweating grease. And that had a tendency for me to be like, all right, maybe we've had enough. Maybe it's time for us to just
let it go.
Let it go.
But it was good to try.
Oh, dude, it was worth the experience to have had it. And, it's always a lot of fun to be there on opening day, when something's just released. And you get to be there when they unveil it. So we went ahead and gave it a whirl. And I would recommend trying it. But as I say in the video, which, again, you can see it at riot.radiou.com, I do not recommend a lifestyle. It's a fantasy. Like, it is
every once in a while, it's a nice treat.
It's like you can go off and visit that world, but you can't live there. Because if you do live there, you will not be living there for very long. It will be amazingly cut short. And we would hate to see you die, before your time.
This was the worst of the riots, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The Riot exists because Radio U exists, and Radio U only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.